She started out studying aeronautical engineering, which I did not know, and went on to become Miss World. Okay, one of Time's most influential people, one of Forbes' most powerful women, and a Jonas. I'm just saying, that's a lot of checks. It's a lot of boxes she's checked. Her new memoir is called Unfinished. Great title. Let's say hello to Miss Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Hello.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm so good. Your husband was talking smack on our group text the other day, our voice group. He was like, "You losers ready? I'm going to come and be." I was like, "All right, Jonas." But I've seen you a couple times on set. We never get to talk too long because we're always running for the camera or whatever. But do you like coming? Do you enjoy it? I loved how our compound used to be and we could all hang. That's no.
I just miss human interaction. I swear the first time I thought I'd be seeing you on your show would be on that couch, and like we'd be sitting together, you know, having a drink, talking, like we usually do whenever we meet. And but you know, it's a weird world, and I love coming to the set of The Voice. I was actually a fan of the show before Nick even came onto the show. I'd watched it so many times. I told him when he needs to, like, how much time he needs to sort of take before he turns the chair and stuff like that.
I love it. I love it. Well, do you remember this moment? Because I do. You helped me out. So, do you remember that?
I do remember that. You were going to go back on stage, and this was the Variety Women
Power of Women,
lunch or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Variety Power of Women. Yeah,
yeah.
And that was the first time we met, and you were so nice. I thought, literally, I was like, she was so nice. She's such a girl's girl. I was sweaty. I'd just gotten off stage performing, and I was about to go do another thing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sweaty, and I had nothing, and you totally touched me up. Has there been another time?
But it's also the Indian in me. I think it's a very cultural thing to me. Be all up in your business and be like, let me just get you. Come here, show me your face. And clean you up. All right, go on ahead. It's very cultural.
Well, it's very Southern as well, like where I'm from. So I thought it was really nice. Is there another time?
I'm glad you did.
I did. Oh, I loved it. I'm a major extrovert, if you haven't noticed. So I love extroverts. And you and Nick had your second anniversary recently. That's amazing. So are you becoming? I feel like sometimes when couples are together, you start to like be like each other. Are y'all that yet?
Well, I have become a lot neater than I used to be. I put my shoes together now because he puts his shoes together, and I don't want to be the one who's a mess. I eat on the dining table now, which I hated doing. I used to love eating on the couch, in my blanket, you know. But he likes to sit on the dining table, so I've started becoming a little bit like that. Yeah, so I think I'm the one who's changed.
No, I love that though. His personality, I would have totally expected him to be like a clean freak. So.
Completely.
Yeah.
Even his closet, like all the hangers are sort of distanced together, and mine's like a drawer full of just clothes.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. All right, we're back, and I was watching. I almost made us stop, but because you had like a sneezing attack or something, I could see. But I almost held off, but I was like, oh my God.
I was drinking. I'm not crying. I was drinking some water, and it went down the wrong side.
Oh my God, I was like, somebody help her, but you couldn't hear me. And I was like, I hate this virtual world. I was like, she's choking. I was like, anyway, we've got Priyanka Chopra Jonas on Skype, y'all, and she's alive and well.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay, Rick. Well, congratulations on the book. This is amazing. And it's not, I mean, coming from a writer that writes about her own life sometimes, that is a very hard thing to do sometimes with certain subject matter. So was it hard for you to write about your own life?
It definitely was. I actually always wanted to write a book, and I thought that the easiest thing would be to write a memoir because you know your life, you know? But it's not, because you end up dealing with and talking about things that you kind of buried in your past and haven't thought about for a long time. And I wrote it at a time which was daunting as well. I wrote it in 2020 during quarantine because I had the luxury of the time to write it. So I was emotional, vulnerable, and kind of reflected in the book. It's so much more personal than I ever intended it to be.
Yeah, is it because writing for me, especially when I'm writing songs about my own, it's kind of therapeutic for me. And it can be overwhelming. Totally. But was it therapeutic for you? Did you kind of like go, man,
I think it was healing.
Oh, that's so good.
Very much. So I feel like I've been running so fast in my life. 2020 was 20 years in the entertainment business for me. So I realized that I'd only been running from, you know, one job to the next. As you know, in our jobs, you don't know what you don't know. It's not consistent like a normal job. You have to figure out what the next job is, to where your check's coming from. Like there's a constant hustle. And I'd been running to make sure that I had a consistent career for such a long time. I didn't think about a lot of things or deal with things that may have been hard, or rejections or failures. And writing a book really helps you do that. So it was super healing for me.
That's incredible. What a blessing. Well,
It really was.
Yeah. You write a lot about your childhood in India. So what's going on with this picture? I love this photo. I love. What is that? What's happening?
I was I think a year and a half, but this is me wearing my dad's military uniform. I was obsessed with my father. I wanted to be him. He had long legs, he was tall, he was funny, he was charming. And this was his uniform. And I just always used to dress myself. I used to wear his shoes, I used to wear his beret. That's how I felt closest to him.
That's amazing. That's an awesome relationship. Well, tell me about the plan your brother had to get you out of the house. That was my favorite part, like reading about how this was his trick to get you out of the house, kind of catapulted your career, right?
It kind of really set me on this track. There was my brother. I just moved back to India from the States, and there were only 2 other rooms in my parents' house. And, so my brother's room was kind of given to me because I was a 16-year-old teenager at that point. And I didn't argue with that. But he wanted his room back because my mom had set him up in the hallway between the 2 rooms. And I just gotten some photos taken, like, mall shots, the soft focus, like hand on your face kind of pictures. And he took those pictures at all of 10 years old and told my mom. He took the magazine in which there was a commercial for the Miss India pageant. And he was like, you know what, why don't you send her in for this? Because then she'll have to go away to Mumbai. And his 10-year-old mind that was his way of getting his room back. And I went into the pageant, won it, and that triggered my entire career as I know it right now.
And was that even a dream of yours to do a pageant?
No, I never even knew that normal girls could be in a pageant, and that's how it all happened. Crazy, yeah.
That's amazing. So I read you were kicked out of a couple museums, which I liked you before, Priyanka, but I really loved reading about you before this interview. Because how are you kicked out of museums?
Because you try and touch the Starry Night. I mean, you can't try and touch Starry Night. That's
you put your hands
art.
on it?
And yes.
Oh no.
And I was kicked out of MoMA because I touched it. And, alarms and people, and my family was embarrassed. Even at the Louvre, I tried to take a picture with the Mona Lisa, which wasn't allowed, and I got kicked out. It was like, what was wrong with me and art?
Those are really huge museums, like prestigious.
Yeah, not even some little ones.
Yeah. No, hey, that's kind of cooler though. You kicked out of the Louvre. That's kind of cool. I want to ask you about something that you said at the Miss World competition because I loved it. I fell in love with it. The contestants were asked to come up with questions for others to answer, which is a lot of pressure. I feel like I kept thinking before I read yours, what would I have said? What would I have asked? And this was so beautifully asked. If ignorance is bliss, why do we seek knowledge? And my joke in life is always which pill was it in the Matrix? It was I should have taken the other pill. I should have taken the red pill. You know what I'm saying? Or the blue one, whichever one was ignorance. I was maybe that would have been better. And that's always my private joke to myself. And I love that. So what does that mean to you? And why did you ask that?
Well, it was such a mean thing to do now that I think about it. I was like, why did I have to write such a tough question for someone else to answer? But it actually was my question during the Miss India pageant. And I remember saying something like, if ignorance was bliss, I wouldn't know what loving, caring, and sharing is, or some such. But when I wrote that down, I was my mind had gotten blank. It was a Miss World contest, and I was just terrified. And I just wrote whatever I remembered. But she did a great job with it. But now in retrospect, it was just such a mean thing to do.
Yeah, I was you are seriously competitive asking someone that question. You're I'm going to trip her up. I'm going to trip her up. I'm taking that crown.
So mean.
No, it's an amazing question. It's an important one, too, because it is such a thought-provoking question. It's where I think it's one of those great conversation starters at a dinner or something. But everybody, Priyanka's new book is called Unfinished, and it's out now. You got to check it out. Want more fun stuff? I thought so. Check out these videos floating around my head. This one is really cool. I'm just saying. No pressure.